This is my $60,000 Rolex watch. And you're probably wondering, what does that have to do with me being a business owner and creating content on YouTube? And it doesn't at all. And that's because I'm using it as a demonstration to show that a lot of business owners have an idea on what they should be doing for YouTube, but in actuality, that's not the case whatsoever. So as that example, I was creating a visual hook and a verbal hook by showing off something that I might think appeals to business owners. Because a lot of business owners want to be successful. They want to have nice watches, cars, things of that nature. And even though this doesn't matter whatsoever, I would think that that would help me and position me as an authority when creating content. And that's what I actually want to go through in this video, is a lot of business owners are creating content around ideas and they're structuring it around strategies that they think will work because they heard it from somebody else. They don't know if it's true. And then they test it out, they don't get the results they want, and they're kind of stuck because they're like, I've heard all these things, that I should have a strong hook at the beginning or a visual hook. I should have really good engagement editing and things of that nature, and it doesn't help them whatsoever. And that was the whole point of me doing that, because what I want to do in this video is actually just walk you down completely raw about how I create content and what actually needs to happen in order to create a successful piece of content for your business specifically. So this isn't just general YouTube advice. You're going to hear some things that are contrary compared to other advice on YouTube, because the goal of this is to help your business not become the best YouTuber, create the best YouTube content specifically. It's creating good YouTube content for your business overall. And so I have a note thing pulled up over here. It's not going to be shown up on screen overall, but I'm going to break down how I actually do content overall. So once I have a video idea of what I want to do, what I go into from there is what's called a buyer belief that needs to be shifted at the beginning. So essentially every single video you make overall, if the goal is to help your business, needs to have a buyer belief. So AKA you're addressing something that somebody has a thought process around of what the truth should be. Then you instantly address that and you break down your counterpoint to that. So again, the example I had at the video was me showing off a watch that I have, which again, it's just a material object. It doesn't mean anything whatsoever, but this is deemed as successful in the realm of business. If you have these types of things, you'd be quote unquote successful. And so what I did was use that as a really strong hook to try to capture your attention at the beginning. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But a lot of business owners think that's true. You should have a very strong hook at the beginning, a very unique business idea for your video overall. That's what they've been told. That's the buyer belief you currently have right now. And so my goal with this was to shift that buyer belief. So I have to address it first. That is the number one thing you should do in a really good video that you're trying to create for your company. It's you should be addressing these buyer beliefs. Before you can change someone's opinion, you have to meet them where they're at right now. So I can't go to somebody who has this belief over here and just start talking about my way of doing it, because they're going to say, hey, no, it's definitely this over here. This is what I've heard. So I'd rather address what they've heard before, what they think to be the truth. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But let's just say, for example, it's not the truth overall. I need to address that first before I can ever attempt to change their mind. That's how actual logic and reasoning works overall. It's all psychology back. So whenever I'm creating a video, my video content is essentially around the buyer belief first. That's the first things I'm talking about in the content. Then from there, what I do is actually list out a couple different talking points that go into them more. So for example, the buyer belief map, where you just essentially map out what that entire belief is for somebody. So if this is a 5-minute long video, I could spend 2.5 minutes talking about their existing buyer belief, like I have been right now. And the other 2.5 minutes, I could be demonstrating what the new buyer belief is, what you should actually be creating content about, which is actually, again, what I'm doing right this second. I'm talking about how you should have a buyer belief itself. That is the buyer belief of this video, funny enough. And so that's what you should be creating the content around, is creating it around the existing idea that they currently have in the thought process, and then making a very good compelling argument to change that belief of them. Especially if you want that belief to be centered with your business and what your offer is or service, you have to change that belief first. Example of this is if somebody thinks the best way to get leads to their business is to run cold traffic meta ads. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But I think long form organic content is the best way to do that long term. I'm like, okay. So if they currently believe meta ads are the best way overall, I have to meet them where they're at currently. I have to address that overall. And so one of the ways I could do that is talking about some of the pain points they experience with their current belief system. So with meta ads, it's like, hey, you have to spend dollars every single month to actually get in leads. You're probably going to notice that your ad actual cost is going to be continuing to go up. You're going to reach colder and colder audiences. You've probably experienced ad fatigue and like have to create all these new ad creatives every single month and spend a bunch of money behind it to hope that you'll actually get deals. But wouldn't it be so much better to just have deals coming in where you don't have to spend direct money for them? And they're like, okay, so now it starts to open up that thought process. They were met over here with frustrations and pain points around their existing system that they probably already know about. And then I give them a contrarian belief, basically a belief shift overall. That's what the goal of that content ultimately is at the very end. It's to shift that belief so they go from thinking meta ads are the best to then they think, oh yeah, you know what? It is true. Like my ad costs continue to rise. My closing rate continues to drop. The more cold audience, like I get ad fatigue all the time. I don't even know what ad creatives to make. And then I'm like, hey, wouldn't it just be better if you didn't have to even pay for those leads whatsoever? You could just create a 5-minute long YouTube video, put it out there. Not only actually increases your close rates because it helps nurture prospects, but it also can generate traffic for you. They're like, huh, how would I do that? And then I break down the process of doing so. That is what's a buyer map. It's an entire roadmap where you meet them where they are now, and then you change their belief over time. And again, it could be in a short video, it could be in a long video overall. That's what the best type of content pieces are. So again, what you should be having is beliefs first, and then your natural process from there is gonna be breaking down their pains and problems and going into the new idea of what they should be focusing on overall. And so if you actually try to do that, instead of just brainstorming random ideas and random thought process or anything of that nature, you'll actually have a very good system, create organic content on YouTube that will actually help your business in the long run.